This is an excerpt from Living Faith Makes God Real by E.Faith Stewart. Clothing supplied for workers in answer to prayer. In 1933, we passed some testing times in the mission work in Cuba. Because of economic and political conditions, the sufferings among the laboring people were great, and these conditions brought many and varied problems in the missionary work. We reached a time when some of our brethren who were either in the active service of the ministry or who were in the Bible training school definitely preparing for the work were almost destitute for clothes. Together we prayed and trusted, but the answer was delayed some days. At last a group of workers met and definitely laid this need before the Heavenly Father and had just committed it all away to Him. It was necessary for some of us to make a trip to Santiago de Cuba, a city of some 800 miles from Havana. 4 of us started out in the car, expecting to drive to a certain place which we would have reached late in the night before stopping, but God planned otherwise. About 5 p.m., we discovered that something was wrong with the car, and we were afraid to continue traveling that night, so we pulled into a garage about 6 p.m. to see what the trouble was. To our disappointment, we learned that the mechanic was not there and would not be until the next morning, so there was nothing for us to do but to go to a hotel and pass the night. The following morning the car was rapidly repaired, and we were soon on our way again. Some of the younger ones in our group were inclined to question as to why we had been thus delayed, and had been obliged to pay a hotel bill for the night. But I reminded them of how we had, at the beginning of our trip, committed every detail of the journey to the Lord, and that we should be contented with what He had permitted to come to pass. We had not been out on the highway more than a half hour that morning when we saw right ahead of us, lying in the middle of the highway, a large package. We stopped the car and got out to look at it. For some moments we were afraid to touch it, as at this time many bombs were being placed in the highway, as this happened in the days of the Revolution in Cuba. However, after spending a few moments and looking at the package, we came to the conclusion that it had dropped off of some truck that had passed that way with a load of materials from some factory. The package was placed in the car, and care was used to inquire all along the highway at each bus station if notice had been turned in of a lost package. We advertised in different ways, but never had any response. After doing all we could to find the owner, and having failed, we opened the box, and to our great joy, we found we had 6 new white drill suits of the best material, right from some factory or store, but we found no mark anywhere that could serve to guide us to the original owner. The suits were of different sizes and fitted the group of minister and workers who had been in such dire need as if they had been made to order. Praise our God forever! The God of the Israelites, who made their garments that they wax not old while they were in the wilderness, where they could not get any more, can supply for His trusting children today. Thy raiment wax not old upon thee these 40 years. Deuteronomy 8:4. Thank God He is just the same today. Hebrews 13:8. Had we not had the little trouble with the car, we would have passed by that place before the package was dropped. God had planned the whole thing for us. Oh, that we might learn better how to commit our ways unto Him, trust also in Him, and let Him bring to pass what should come in each day of our lives. Psalms 37:5.